Uh, and that's what makes actually the Enlightenment warrior sort of person invincible, because when the demon comes to confront them, they see the demon as the same as them. So anyway, that's my message, okay? So CTFU, that's it. And Kundalini Yoga is a great way, because it's bringing up your inner energy from down there, so that it can pervade your whole system, and you really feel good. And when you feel good, you can do difficult things. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. When you feel really good, you also want to be an activist. You want to be a climate activist. You want to be a democratic activist. All our different crises that we're facing on the planet now. You want to be friendly, and you want to be a happiness activist. And that's the revolution we need now. The love revolution. Isn't that's your friend, the Kaur, that lady?
Valerie?
Valerie, yeah. Valerie. We don't need any kind of angry revolution. We need a love revolution. And so we have to be cheery when we talk to. My challenge is Mitch McConnell. Mitch, your chin is dribbling in the nicest way today. How do you shave it when it's all flopping down there like that? It's like, you must say, I want a lesson. How to cheer up Mitch. Really. That's the task. Come on, your turn.
Okay, well, I had another question for you. It's not really... Might take us in a little different direction.
What?
I wrote something down when I was
good.
reading your book.
Oh, great! Oh, please.
That I thought it was very beautiful.
Yeah, and people should ask questions about the book too, and challenge different ideas and things. That's the best way of dialogue. Yeah. Please.
Well, this was from early. I don't know where in the book, but early on, where you're introducing your context for the book.
Right.
And you said, I myself am still a work in progress.
Yes.
But in the last 60 years, thanks to the kindness of my teachers, partner, children, and friends, I have discovered enough about my own Buddha nature to be confident about yours.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I love that.
Did I say that?
You said that. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's true. That is true. That's right.
So what do you mean by that when you say...
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't bring... Oh, I did bring... I ran into this verse of William Blake, where he said, all things that live are holy, and they descend to be a weeping babe, for it is the earthworm that moisturizes the desert plain, or something to that effect, So he was saying, I think, the similar type of thing, that Buddha nature means only that's what I meant by saying that the double vision of the Buddha. The Buddha sees us as we are, as we think we are, actually, but as we more unreally are. Our suffering self is the unrealer. It's not completely non-existent. But it's less real than our blissful self, because in fact we're kind of made of bliss. It's like you have a certain illness, and a good doctor sees that you have a basic potential healing force in your own body, and they don't pretend that they give it to you. They realize that you have it, and their skill is to help you focus more on it and let it come through and let it heal you. And like, homeopathy is like that. Mm-hmm. And vaccines are like that, where you get a little bit of the poison or of the virus or of the bacteria or whatever, vaccine, the pox or whatever it is. And then that mobilizes your own healing power, you're seen. And in fact, a wonderful person who I don't know if any of you know about, but in our family we're very fond of someone called Anthony William, who wrote a book called Medical Medium and a bunch of other books since then. And he is the healing force of compassion. He's a medium for the healing force of, divine healing force of compassion, the way he gives his, and he, as a child even, he was, poor guy, he was to be a little kid about 6 years old, and he'd say, oh, Grandma, I think you're getting liver cancer. Because some voice would tell him that. And then they would say, what? Well, Anthony, what are you saying to Grandma? You know this. But then they worried, and a week or two later, they had her checked up, and she was having. And they caught it early. So he became famous even as a child, then he rebelled. It's a long story. But anyway, he says, autoimmune, for example, is only the ignorance of the medical profession nowadays. Your body will never attack you. Your body loves you. It is loving you. It's your happy vehicle. It embraced you when you came with your soul from previous life, and it's totally suited to you, and it really likes you. And sometimes if someone's body doesn't work well from early on, it may have, that's like it's still teaching that person something in some way, according to a positive vision of the nature of reality. And I'm sorry, what was the, what was it? Oh yeah, Buddha nature, that's right.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm old and I digress. and so that's the thing, you see, seeing that you have the potential to do it. It's like, there's someone we relate to, say someone you don't like in the office or something, who always presses your button and irritates you, whatever they do or say. Do you know something? There are people like that. Maybe you've had that experience. But then the problem is too that then once you get used to that, when you see that person, you automatically kind of project that they're going to do that. So they almost can't do anything else. Do you follow me? Whereas if you're really open and you're observing them afresh, and you sort of see, oh, they have another dimension to them. Oh, and that gives them room to behave in a different way. I can't explain it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that happens in relationships when you've been with a same person for a long period of time.
Right.
How do you keep seeing them freshly instead of just assuming they'll
that's right.
keep doing the same thing?
Absolutely. That's how one should be, rather than just assuming they are always exactly so. That's right. And so therefore, you can take them as they are and still see the beauty and so forth, right? And you don't get all derailed because they get mad at you at some point, which happens, So that's what it means. And the Buddha nature just means especially for human beings, but all animals have the Buddha nature also, even insects, even poisonous ones, whatever, they all have, even demons actually have. And that's what makes actually the enlightenment warrior sort of person invincible, because when the demon comes to confront them, they see the demon as the same as them. They don't hate that demon. They realize the demon is distorted by some wrong concept that the demon has. And then the demon kind of feels that, and it puts them off balance. And martial arts has that idea, right? The martial art master never gets angry with the opponent and lets the opponent sort of unravel their own violence. You know what I mean? And so it's a vision like that an enlightened being has, and then he teaches that. And so in other words, you get a kind of confidence that your Buddha nature will come out, your day will happen, everything is perfect, and you'll find it. And that's what I wanted in this book. I want people to stop being afraid of reality. And of course, the biggest thing there to deal with is death, right? The big thing people are scared of is death, right? And they were scared of death back in when Western culture was theistic, because they thought God was going to send them to hell, especially, the European distortion of Christianity got into here. God was very threatening in case you ever had fun, actually. If you had any fun, you'd go to hell, you can't be erotic, you can't have any, everybody has to be kind of locked up, their inner eros has to be locked away. The Western culture was like that, Masters and Johnson, and this kind of thing that we've had recently, somewhat controversially even in the US. Well, the Kama Sutra is like 2,000 years old. In India, they had Masters, and that was really Masters and Johnson. It wasn't just a playboy, The Kama Sutra, it was how to have fun, and how to tell a guy that, he doesn't know what's going on. And so that he can have fun. They can all have fun. It's like how to get it out in the open and work on it and cultivate good sensuality rather than just like whatever, perfunctory and smoke a cigarette or something. Anyway, that's the thing. We're all going to be Buddhas. We're all going to be happy. Oh yeah, and then death, yeah. So death, nobody knows what death is in the West. They think, oh, when the flat line in the brain, or when the heart doesn't beat, and then you have all these near-death experiences of these people who they're about to zip up the body bag, and the person sits up and says, wait a minute, I was just in heaven with Jesus for a while. Don't burn my body yet. And then they say that once they had died and gave up the struggle of trying to stay in a body, that they were going down into the tunnel of light, and they were going, wow, into vast energy and open space. And they did, and then somebody showed up, Guru Nanak or Jesus or Buddha or a Bodhisattva, and said, "Oh, not your time. Go back. You have more karma." Right? That's, if you know near-death experiences, have you ever read any of you? It's really worth reading those different. There's lots of versions. And they get sent back, and then bang, they're back in the broken body on the operating table or something, which they didn't really want to be. But what that indicates is that what happens after you leave this body is nothing painful right off, unless you bring that with you. But what it is you're temporarily, your deep Kundalini energy is just without being constrained by like a bunch of nervous system and flesh and skeleton and bone, and it's pure, jeweled serpent, joy, And in fact, it's so vast that it frightens you if you haven't trained and learned about how to be ready to be wide open without fear, and trust in the energy of the universe and be open to it. And so then you immediately you pass out for a few days, they say, in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, where they give you the roadmap. And then when you become conscious again, you think you're back in your old body, but you're not, so you get a little bit anxious. But basically you try to create a boundaried situation for yourself again. And that will then lead you to a rebirth, something like what you were in the previous, if you're lucky. And if you lived in a very lesser way, very selfish and very harmful way toward others and so on, then you will look for a more well-armored body than the human one. The human body, we're wrongly taught by our evolutionary biologists that we are so powerful and we're so fierce and we're all hunters and we're all aggressive and we need to have a lot of guns and all this thing. And well, we do need to have a lot of guns because we're actually very gentle and we're very vulnerable. And any tiger could make mincemeat out of it. They do make mincemeat when they get derailed, And we can't fight the tiger. Tarzan could, but we can't. And we chose, however, this body because by being more gentle and vulnerable, we can connect better with other people, and we're more sensitive, and we're closer to our bliss actually. And Kundalini is happier in our body than in the body of a crocodile. But Kundalini is also in the central channel of a crocodile. But the crocodile, if they try to sit up and do Kundalini yoga, the tail sort of gets in the way. And then they're kind of the scales and the whole thing, and just not to mention high Kundalini yoga, even normal sensuality yoga, crocodiles, there's no foreplay. It just doesn't work in a crocodile, Caress is like chalk on a blackboard. So, it's purely functional. There's no more sensitive thing like the human being has, right? So that's the thing. So therefore, death is clearly defined in the Indian, and Tibetans have just kept the Indian Buddhist side of India's great science, which they have themselves in yoga and Hinduism and in Sufism, actually, which actually in Attar's History of the Sufis, the great Persian Sufi Attar, the first Sufi was Al-Sindi, if you know the lineage of them. So Indian, And I think that when they reached India, some of them who weren't into just conquering and grabbing jewels and melting statues, some of them found the real energy of India, which is this blessed, joyful energy. Really, it is. India is the great mother, of Eurasia. So then when you discover, what Buddha and what Guru Nanak under the river, when he went to the bottom of the river for 3 days. So because he could only do that because he didn't die, that body didn't die, and he didn't have to have normal respiration. Because when you really release Kundalini type energy in your system, you take it from the water, the oxygen, you know. You don't need to pump the heart and so forth. You can just stay suspended in a bubble of energy. And then feel bliss. You feel total bliss. Sort of like a ketamine trip. So when you discover that death is where your energy becomes more than you're at that time. Ideally, you're very old, you live a long and rich life, your body no longer works, it's not serviceable. And your life energy wants to move to a better, more serviceable body, basically. And if your mind doesn't get in the way, it will take you to one, for sure. And so death is, in fact, therefore, when we've all been Buddhas for split seconds, every time we died. And in Buddhist science, the way evolution works, it's an individual matter, and you evolve through up and down in many worlds, not just this planet, since beginningless time. So we've all been everything, we've done everything, and we now have the privilege, and we have the joy, and we have the huge opportunity of having become human. And actually, we've been gods, all of us too, and we've been demons, and we've been crocodiles, and we've been other kinds of humans, and now we're humans who have come to a class with Jaidev to learn about Kundalini Yoga and meet the Dharma of Guru Nanak, and which is the Dharma of Mother India, actually, the great goddess, Mother India. What do you think, Vatsya? You like that? That's wonderful. What do you think?
I think it's great.
So then once you don't fear death, how are you going to fear anything in life? And then the key to dying well is to be so happy. And people do say, oh, I'm so happy I could die. They say. So our job is CTFU enough that we would be so happy whatever happened to us. Then if someone calls us a jerk, or they say you're a QAnon, or someone says you're a pink supremacist. There's only pink supremacists, by the way. That's a meme I would like to get out there. There's no white supremacists, because there's no white people, except some people painted white face, some clowns. Otherwise everybody's pink. The so-called white people are pink in search of a tan. So the Proud Boys are pink supremacists. Don't you think that'll cheer them up? I think it should.
Hey, thanks for watching on YouTube. Best easy way to stay in touch with us. Hit the subscribe button here. You'll see our videos when they come up. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. It'll help more people see it, help the channel grow. I appreciate you watching.